Welcome to Outrageously Me, a podcast for outcasts and ode to self. This is all of me, your host Shri, and in this podcast, we dive deep into what it means to be outrageously you. More importantly, how to lean into your superpower of being you for professional and personal success. Today, I have a very special guest. You know how difficult it is to find the love of your life, and even more difficult if you were to do it for your friend. But this person gone out of his way and he has started finding matches for everybody around him. And I am so interested because he has not only found this club where he has made a matchmaking initiative for gays in India, which is very, very contemporary and very outrageous. He has also founded several clubs that helps gay people in India. And today we are going to talk a lot about this person as who he is and how he has come to be a change enabler within the community and his services to the community in India. Welcome with me, Umang Sheth. Thank you so much for being on the show, Umang. You're a speaker, counselor, and a change enabler. Oh, I can't wait to talk to you.
For inviting me here. It's a pleasure, and thanks for that wonderful introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Umang, what did you eat today?
What did I eat? I had dal khichdi today.
Oh, that's my favorite. So, can you tell me where does the story for Umang Sheth starts? Where does it starts, and where do you want us to meet you? Like,
Sh-
where does all of this starts from you?
Sure. That's a lovely question, and see the way you introduced me. You said that I started something like Gay Bombay, Mister and Hugging Club, and there is a story why I could do all this. And it's a very good question, and I want to start with that. So
Of
Shri,
course.
I come from a very different family. I come from a family which you may call it dysfunctional. I come from a family where I had a lot of childhood trauma. Okay. So Shri, I
Mm,
grew up in a family where my parents, my mom and dad had mental illnesses. My mother
okay.
had schizophrenia. So when I grew
Mm,
up, I saw my mother talking to ghosts and spirits. She
mm-hmm,
would call up my uncle and say, "Your dead wife is in my kitchen. I am giving food and shelter. Please pick her up." She was not the regular mom. She had a lot of mental health challenges. She would hallucinate. And
mm,
other side, I had a dad who had bipolar. So he had a
mm,
phase where he would splurge money. Whenever he got money, he would splurge. He would take my mom's jewelry and sell it off and gamble. So it
mm,
was not a regular family. My father would not come home for days, and my mother would cry, and there was a lot of fights. So I
mm,
grew up in an environment where I was very ashamed of my parents.
mm,
So when coming to my story, come from a family where there was nothing usual. Everything was unusual. There was a lot of
mm,
shame, embarrassment. So today I can do all this when unusual because I come from that background. I can be the only one person odd out in lakhs and I'm okay. So all these initiatives which are first or one of its kind, I can do it because of my childhood. My childhood was unusual, so I can do unusual things.
fantastic. And thanks so much for sharing with us. I mean, like you went right in, you scuba dived, and you are very open about talking about mental health issues, which is what it should be. I mean, like it's just like physical health issues, and
Absolutely.
people shy away from talking about it. And you know, I really want to say how much strength you have in finding yourself and not just finding yourself for your own light, but you also found yourself and found a way to help others by walking a path which is harder to walk in the first place. I really want to commend you on what you have done so far and being here and sharing with us this wonderful journey with all of us.
Thank you.
And as a person who has been recently diagnosed with a form of bipolar myself, I can
Oh,
totally understand your background and I can totally appreciate how much that would have affected you as a child growing up in this family. But we haven't got an answer to this important question. So, how did this unique family situation help you create those initiatives that you wanted to create? What was your first initiative? I know you said Gay Bombay. That was, I think, in early in 1998, right? So, but I
right,
want to
right.
understand, like, at what point you said, oh, I'm living for myself, I'm gay and I'm coming out, to I'm going to create a change in the society? So at what point did that change occur?
Sure, sure. First of all, I would like to really thank you for openly sharing on a podcast about your mental health challenge and bipolar. That takes a lot of courage when so many people will be listening. So kudos to you, Shri, that you are breaking a stigma and you are have lot of courage. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you for you sharing you about your life. So it has helped me to share mine. So go ahead.
Thank you, Souvenir. So coming to Gay Bombay, why did I start? It's a very funny, it's a funny and it's a little of tragedy. So I grew up where I am was absolutely effeminate. I
Mm,
remember people calling me sissy, baila, chakka, ijda. These are all Hindi slangs. So
mm,
I grew up where my friends would say, "You are in a girls' team." I was not able to
mm,
play cricket, and I used to play with dolls, and I was shamed. I clearly
mm.
remember that this is not me. All my friends are getting attracted to girls, and I like Anil Kapoor and Jackie Shroff. So I really remember these
By
two
the way, I did
incidents.
like both of them. So we are on the same team.
Okay.
Anil Kapoor, especially with that chest. Oh my God.
Sure, sure. Our Mr. India.
He was Mr. India. I didn't know.
Yeah, the movie Mr.
Oh,
India.
the movie Mr. India with I think Sri Devi, right? That was a funny one. Yeah.
Anil Kapoor
But
was also there. He's an actor.
yeah,
Okay,
of
anyway,
course. Yeah.
coming back to my story. So I remember these two incidents very clearly in my life, Shri, and today I can openly share. When I was filling my SSC form, that is 10 standard form, the principal asked me there are male and there is a female column. Does anybody need a
Mm,
third column? And one
mm.
smart guy would get up and say Umang, and I was devastated. There were 40, 50 people laughing
Oh
at me,
my
and
God.
I just wanted the earth to open up and me to vanish. Next
Mm,
year, I think I was at a Christmas or a New Year party, and a fish
mm.
pond came to me saying that when your mom was expecting, she wanted a boy, and when your dad wanted a girl, and when you were born, they both were happy. So I was
Oh my
crushed.
God.
So I grew up in this whole environment, very ashamed of myself. And then I realized my coming out story I would like to share is that I remember Shobha De and Ashok Rao Kavi writing a book together. And
Mm.
Ashok Rao Kavi happened to be an activist with Bombay Dost magazine. He started the first gay magazine. And I gathered the courage to call up Shobha Dev, who is a leading journalist, and took number from Midday Publication. And I called up and I took number from,
Wow.
yeah, Shobha De. I was just six. I was 18 years old. With trembling, I called up Ashok, and his mother were picked up, and there were no mobiles. There were landlines. I'm talking about uh 1990. I don't know, three or yeah, 1993 or 92.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So I called up and told I'm Rajesh and all that, and mother said Ashok is not there. Finally, Ashok came on the line, and it was a mixed feeling because it's the first time in my life I was talking
Mm,
to a guy who was openly gay like me, and I was
mm.
scared also. So I remember this I telling that, hey, I am gay. My name is Rajesh. I like macho like Jackie Shroff and Anil Kapoor, and I want to meet them. And Ashok is telling, oh, this is not a brothel. You can meet them. And he still teases me. So I said I want to
Oh.
meet people like me, and that's when he said that there is a place called Gokul in Kolaba where the gays meet every Saturday night, and I met a guy called Rakesh Modi. And that's my
Mm,
journey started. I started meeting gay guys and getting comfortable. But coming to Gay Bombay, why I started, I soon realized that being gay was all about sex, sex, sex. Sex was put
mm,
on a pedestal, and I realized that there has to be more than that. And that's where, me and my ex boyfriend thought of calling people at McDonald's, which is a family place where others were all gay places, and tell people, "Ki, let's talk, let's connect, and talk
mm.
anything besides sex so we can evolve." And that's how in 1998 I called people at McDonald's, at Bandra.
Wow.
Told them, "Ki, come, let's talk. And that's how Gay Bombay started.
I wish I had known you earlier, Umang. Seriously, in 1998, 99, I was trying to find my own way. There was I was in Chennai, right? So, but the only
Right,
way I could meet people is on all those internet sites where, you meet gay people, as well as on the sites where you cruise, right? So
right,
in the
right.
physical places. There was no
What
decent
about
places for me
Orinam?
to.
Orinam was not there?
Warner started much later, and it was
Okay,
also not popular. Nobody, I mean, I didn't know Orinam up until I went to abroad. So, Orinam was started much later, and I had no idea that there was a society that which we can be part of. So, gay sex or homosex was always a term, right? Used to refer to people like us,
right,
homosexual. It was always about the sexual act.
right.
I didn't know there was a term called gay until 2000 plus. So I think that's what is important for us to be able to understand that this is not just a sexual activity, but we are a person, and we are a person of sexual or a
Absolute.
gender identity. I think that's great that you met people in McDonald's in 1998. You are a pioneer who paved ways for us. I'm not calling you old.
Thank you. No, but no, I understand. It's okay.
Uh,
I'm 50 years old, so it's fine. You can call me old,
you
but that's
you
okay.
don't. I never knew you are 50. I mean, like, now that I'm listening to you, we have met before. Like, we have met for
Yeah, you had
another.
come to my show, Mr. and Mr.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. And this is interesting. I never knew you were 50 plus. I always thought you were like 40s and in your 40s or something. And
thank
you
you.
don't look a day over 40. You look fantastic. You look
Thanks a
handsome. You
lot,
look
Shri. Thanks for
beautiful.
making my day.
You do. Own it, my friend, own it. So fantastic. So now that you started this Gay Bombay initiative, how
Yeah.
was the reception?
Oh, it was fantastic. The best part is that we met at an open place, like McDonald's. So, what was the beauty of it that when you're entering McDonald's, you're not entering a gay place or something, so people were comfortable. So, what was the beautiful thing is that we sat on a chair. I told I'm going to wear a black cap, and people would sit into the next table and check us out, check me out. Hey, he looks
Hmm.
like a regular guy. There's nothing like he's got two horns. And they got comfortable and came to my table and we started talking. And how it
Wow.
evolved is that we started going to somebody's house where there were mothers, aunt, and people thought so comfortable, when a mother and an aunt is accepting their children and
Hmm.
other friends of other children. It is so overwhelming and so liberating that I can also go home and tell my mom. There's nothing
Hmm.
wrong. See, when your
Hmm.
parents accept, the whole morality or it is unnatural goes out of the window because here the parents are accepting not only their children but their friends.
Yeah,
So
the acceptance at home is very, very important, isn't it?
yeah. So what happened, Shri, is that because we were meeting at that open places and we were keeping sex out of the window, there are so many things evolved. In the next 15 years, Shri, we did so many events. We
Hmm.
called one of the big things. What I am very proud of is that I started Indian P flag. I started calling
Hmm.
parents of gay, lesbian aunts, and they would talk and interact. And help each other
Wow.
to get comfortable.
Wow. This is a support system that you've built.
Yeah. And then we did so many events. We did brunch with speed dating, gay picnics, parties, film festivals, relationship meets, so many. It's like every alternate weekend, alternate sexuality. We did lot of
Wow.
events,
And you didn't
HIV.
stop there. You didn't stop there. You also did Hugging Club of India in
Yeah,
2017,
yeah.
and now later on you did start Mr. and Mr., which is what we are going to talk about later today,
Sure.
which is a gay matchmaking initiative. The
Yeah, yeah.
first of gay matchmaking initiative, you become the Sima Auntie of India for gays. But what I'm curious about is that when you started all these initiatives, like was it always in the plan that you wanted to create more and more spaces for gays to be normalized, the term gay to be normalized, and the people to be part of the community? One question is that what was the feedback like in term you said good feedback that must be from the gay community, but what was the other kind of feedback that you have to navigate, and how did you scale up from one initiative to others, like doing more and more? What kept you going in doing more, even when you received those feedback?
Yeah. So, what I understood is that why was I doing so many more and more things, the first of its kind? That's what you
Yes,
is it?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So first of all, see, to be honest, whatever I've done so far, I've never thought that it will reach such a huge scale. My whole idea was to make people comfortable in whatever space, whether it is sexuality, whether it is mental health, or whether it is, looking for a life partner in a healthier way. So the reason I did is, I don't know, somewhere, as I said, I come from a background where everything is unusual. So I always get attracted to do something hatke, something out of the box. There is something, a
Mm,
streak in me to do something out of the box. And the main reason is to make people comfortable, make them to help, which comes very naturally to me, where people can open up and share with me. So coming to things like Hugging Club of India, see, I reason one of the things that triggered Hugging Club of India is my very good friend died of suicide in Hyderabad.
oh
He
no.
was 40, he had chronic depression, and he thought talking about his chronic depression, people will think he's immature.
Mm,
And he died of suicide. That's where I thought that I should talk about it. And I had this whole, my parents, mental illness, and then I realized, why not, let's talk about it, because like me, who have gone through a background, or like so many people must be suffering. And that's how I
mm,
started talking about it. And I told people, let's meet and talk. And it just happened organically. It's been 6 years, where we've been meeting, talking, sharing. Now there is a structure to it, but it just happened randomly. But one of the best things that has happened is, this is the only show, my Hugging Club of India, where mental health experts talk about their own mental illness. They talk about
wow.
taking therapy, taking medicine. So it removes a lot of stigma, that if a psychiatrist and therapist is taking help, then why shouldn't I take help?
Wow, that's it's, you're taking the stigma from a inception level, like you're taking it out of even the people who support mental health. So then the people who actually want to go to a psychiatrist or want to
Yeah.
speak to counselors, they are not going to see them as somebody who can cure like doctors, but see them as individuals who also have normalized issues with mental health, and that's great. And why did you even think about, so all these people sharing their own mental health? What triggered that specific angle to it?
Regarding mental health, talking about their mental health challenges.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, because I also, it's a beautiful story I want to share with you. So I used to take my mom and dad to a psychiatrist regularly in Borivali. So when
Hmm.
the first time I entered the reception room, I saw a psychiatrist written on his board, "K, once upon a time I was suicidal and I wanted
Wow.
to end my life." And I then started a group called, I forgot the name, and then I helped a lot of people to wondering mental health people who were schizophrenic. He took them under his wings and started a rehab and reunited them with the family. And when, just imagine, Shri, you are sitting at a psychiatrist reception
Mm,
area with your parents having mental illness, and you read something where a
mm,
psychiatrist openly sharing in his room that he started his rehab or whatever because he had mental health challenge and he had no
right,
purpose in life, and he's
right.
united 10,000 people with their family. It's so liberating, and I
It
said this
is.
should go to the pub world. And
Wow.
that's why I started.
That's powerful. That's really, really powerful. So going back to some of the earlier questions I had, because I stacked up two, three questions on you. I'm sorry about that. So going back to the earlier questions I had, so what was the negative feedback while you were scaling up these initiatives, one after another?
Negative feedback.
Yeah. What did you receive as a negative feedback? Did you receive any negative feedback?
In what? In all the three initiatives?
Any initiative that you've taken, like as you scaled up from one initiative to other?
Yeah, so when I started Gay Bombay, Shri. First of all, people thought I am just doing something to have sex or getting people
Hmm.
together for sex,
Hmm.
and there were some crank calls or blackmailing calls. Okay, I know what you're doing all this in Bandra, and I will call the police and all. That kind of thing happened, but it was okay. It was not very a big part. But when I started Hugging Club, a lot of people saying that I'm selling my stat story, trying to what do you say, being a victim and all. But I did not care. I was looking at the larger picture, and Mr. and Mr. people think that this is not going to work, or this is something time pass or something like that. But I don't care, I mean, I have heard so many things growing up about my parents and me. These
Hmm.
things don't matter to me anymore.
Wow. I don't know how you had the courage to navigate those things. So, once you started overcoming this negative feedback, so what did push you? Like, what helped you pushing through this negative feedback?
See, as I tell you, what has really helped me, being, yeah, some of the things has helped me. One is getting thick skin, because of my parents. But when it comes to especially Hugging Club of India, what helped me is honestly something called as Buddhist psychology. I did a course in Buddhist psychology, and that
Mm-hmm.
has helped me a lot, Shri, because sometimes you always worry what other people are thinking about you. You want validation and all that stuff, I learned something very powerful, Shri, that I have no control about what other people think about me. They
Mm.
will think depending on their mood, their upbringing, what side of the bed they got, did they get a coffee. It is all depending on their mood. So if I trying to fit or act as per what they are looking, then I'm pretending, na? Then I'll be pretending all my life, right? So
Wow.
that was a big liberating thing, that I could do all this because of my mental health. What do you say? Becoming very good because of Buddhist psychology.
Wow. I'm more in love with you today than ever, Umang. It's official. I'm in love with you. Uh,
Thank you.
I really like the way you think. I really like the way you take things and internalize them and then use that as a tools to help others along the way. I think
Right.
that idea that you have about life is quite liberating. So, what is the best feedback you've received? One thing that you can't forget. What is the best story or best feedback you've received while doing all these initiatives?
Sure. So, okay, I'm going to keep being modest aside. So, the best feedbacks I have received is somebody has saved my number as God in their mobile.
Oh, when you call, it says shows as God is calling.
Yeah, it's very humbling. But one of the best things I've received is that when I give my talk shows, that people call me and they share and cry, and the first thing they've ever shared in anything in their life is me. These are the best
Hmm.
feedbacks. I'll give you a story with Hugging Club. I remember one woman came, and she came at the session, and she called me and she cried and she said, my husband is hitting me for 32 years and I have never shared this in life, and I'm sharing it to you. And then she
Wow.
joined the club, and in 2 years we've helped her, and she's doing much well. There are so many stories, of childhood trauma. People would call, they're sitting at home and with therapy, and so talking about is half battle one. It's very liberating. So when you
Mm,
say the best thing that has happened is people sharing me with they have never shared in my life, their life.
wow.
Sorry.
And it makes you even more, like even more acceptable and adaptive to the community that you're building, right? When people share their most innermost vulnerable times with you, that's because they feel safe with you. You've created a safe space
Yeah,
for them,
and they
and
will not
that's
be judged.
wonderful.
The fear of being judged, is not there.
Of course, of course. By the way, I did have saved my husband's number as my life. So whenever he
Okay.
calls, it shows as my life is calling.
Okay. Good one.
When I'm really angry with him, I'll save him on different names, but mostly it's my life.
Lovely, lovely. That's a
And
good way.
But going back to creating safe spaces, so tell me about Mr. and Mr. Like, when does the idea of, okay, I'm going to find, partner for everybody in my club, as if you don't have enough problems, as if people won't tell you about their problems. Now that you have to hear from each other what their partner problem as well once you set them up. So you got a lot of courage in doing that. So tell me about the inception of Mr. and Mr.
Sure, sure. Definitely. Thank you. So this also has a story, to be honest, Shri. So there was something called as the gay marriage in Ahmedabad, started by one lady, okay? The arranged gay
Mm-hmm.
marriage. And it
Mm-hmm.
turned out to be what do you say, a fake one, a fox. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
lot of people had registered, paid money, and then they were duped, it turned out to be honest. And people had
Oh
a lot of
no.
hopes, keeping money aside, but there was a hope that they'll find a life partner. They was lonely. So I remember getting a
Mm-hmm.
call in the middle of the night that, hey, I want to end my life because I had trusted this the arranged gay marriages didn't turn out, and I want to end my life. And I went and rushed and helped him. And then I shared this with my friend Abhishek, and he said, "Why not do this?" And since I had a background with Gay Bombay, I started this Mr. and Mr. the Gay Matchmaking initiative, just to help people, so that they have hope. And also, I'll be honest with you. What is the current problem? And one of the problem is that, see, unlike straight people, Shri, we don't have a roadmap or a milestone. What to do with our
Absolutely.
life. Straight
Absolutely.
people will get married, will have a child, will the whole life will revolve around bringing up the child. The child will get
Mm.
married and they will become grandparents. But with
Yeah.
us, there is no milestone or roadmap. We don't know what to do with our life once we come out of the closet. In absence of
Mm.
that, we get into mental health challenge. There is loneliness, or we get married to a woman. Now, because of the loneliness, a lot of people get into drugs and chemsex. And that's
Mm.
and also these social media apps can be toxic. And just to make sure that to reduce the effect of all this, that's one of the reason we started Mr. and Mr. And that's why we say a healthier way to find a life partner, because there is a whole
Mm.
process. There is a background verification. You meet a therapist also. So there is a beautiful process and to help people in a healthier way.
But how did you come up with the process? It's as if you have really learned the tips and tricks of what the community wanted from your all the other initiatives. So, but how did you lay out the process of them meeting the therapist as the step one?
So, because of my exposure to Hugging Club of India, I realized that lot of people, especially I think 60 to 70% of the people of the fraternity have gone through mental health trauma in their childhood.
Mm.
And that childhood trauma starts affecting in the adulthood, and it is
Mm.
a big hindrance to your relationship. So I'll tell you what happens. In a childhood, there is a lot of insecurity. There is a lot of, you want to fit in. There is bullying. And you don't have good relationships. So when you grow up as an adult, I've seen with my experience, you have something called as codependency. My boyfriend will come and he'll be my savior. He will be someone who will be my counselor, my father, my friend. He will get me out of my misery. No, it doesn't work that way, right? So that's why you need to go to a therapist, because your partner is not responsible for your happiness. You are responsible for your happiness.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is very important. There is a lot of insecurity. Oh, we are in a relationship. Why are you on Grinder? I have sent you a message, you have not replied, and you are online. All these things crop up.
Mm.
So that's
Mm.
why a
Absolutely.
relationship assessment, a therapist, and that's the reason this Sunday I'm having a couple who've been together for 19 years, Shri, and we are having a
Mm.
whole session about talking about how gay dynamics of gay relationship. Savor the relationship. It's like how to shift from a hookup mindset to a relationship mindset, from a casual mindset to a commitment mindset, because relationship coaching and training is very much required in the community.
Yeah. So apart from relationship coaching, which is very important as well, the expectations of a gay relationship is much different from the expectations of a heterosexual relationship, right?
Yes.
So first of all, you have people who have specifically termed themselves as tops, bottoms, and versatile people. That goes into the sexual anatomy of what they want or prefers from their partner.
Right.
And then you also have the whole ball game of who's the emotional parent in the relationship, who's going to provide in the relationship. Are these people out to the public, whether they are gay and things like that? Because these are the challenges I faced when I was dating and when I was trying to find a partner for myself. So within the Indian community and within the Indian context, all these things still prevails, right? People are still not out to the public, and
Right.
how do
Right.
they navigate this challenges of finding the right partner through the system that you have built?
Right, right. So the thing is, you're absolutely right. Some people are closeted, some people are out open, some are still struggling with their sexuality. You're absolutely right. So, one of the things which happens is in the relationship pattern with the therapist is an attachment style. Are you secured or insecure, And these attachment
Mm,
styles are reflected in your assessment. So once somebody gets it, he has a opportunity to work on himself, that
mm,
will help him to grow into the relationship. Secondly, uh as the whole process, of gay matchmaking, there is a registration form, there is a personal interview, there is something called as questionnaire. You meet the therapist, you make the profile, there is a background verification. The whole journey now is very empowering. You for the
wow.
first time open up, you talk, you go for a speed dating, you go and meet so many people online, you realize there is nothing wrong with me, I can
Mm.
open up. There are a lot of people who have opened up, come out to their parents, have the courage because of the whole process.
Mm. There's an English movie on matchmaking. I forgot its name. I think it's Gerald Butler's movie where he is a relationship coach, but he doesn't have a partner. And then there is a woman who starts a love dating app, and she doesn't have a partner. And through the dating app, they find their partners, and through their relationship coaching, they find their partner. So I'm just wondering, is Mr. and Mr. a way for you to find your own partner?
Maybe you never know. Maybe, but there is a question which always puts that, Umang, you are single. Why don't you have a partner? And how can you find a partner for yourself when you are single? And my answer to is that a divorce lawyer need not be divorcee, right?
That's a good one. That's a good one. In the same way, the person who delivers a baby need not be a father.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The priest who gets a marriage done is single.
But million dollar question: are you part of Mr. and Mr. Matchmaking persona? Did you go through them by yourself?
Sorry, come again.
No, are you one of the person who went through the process? Have you filled out your forms
No,
and
no.
have you met?
No, I have not put myself on the list, but my eyes are there. If I see a potential partner, then I'm going to approach him. It's like a buffet in front of me.
No, but how if somebody is interested in you, how do they respond to you? Because if they want to be part of the matchmaking process, but you are not one of the candidates.
People have approached me that why not you, why you have to find somebody, but it's I'm going very very honest. I mean, it's someone whom I should like, and if it doesn't, then I have, in fact, the other way around. There are some people who have registered and I have approached for myself and have got rejected. So it's
Oh
all
no, how
in
do you take your rejections? And this is also an important question for somebody. How
this
do
is
one take rejection?
Absolutely, this is a beautiful question, and I do a lot of these. See, I'm a speaker. I go and talk about how I take care, how what do you say, how I take care of my mind. So the rejection is especially a lot of take personal. So my thing is that he's not rejecting me. I am not fitting to his idea of a boyfriend or a life partner. There's nothing wrong with me. He has a certain
Mm,
image of a boyfriend, and I'm just not fitting in. There's nothing wrong with me. It's like I'm not ugly. I'm not fitting into your definition of beauty, that way.
Wow, that's wonderful. For people who are listening, listen to him when he says, I'm not fitting into this idea of beauty, because beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. And that's a wonderful way to put it across. So let's get him
Yeah.
back to the matchmaking process. Once somebody has filled in the form, has gone through the process, and is ready to, and is a candidate ready to be seen by other candidates. So what happens next?
Yeah, so one of the important things I want to go a little behind is that once you register, we take two references for background verification because I don't know about abroad, but in India there are a lot of fakes. There are people who want to
Mm,
blackmail or ghosting, or they may be married. So we call up
mm,
those two people and verify. Also, we take your ID card like PAN card, Aadhaar card, voters ID. This is just to make sure that you are a genuine guy. So
okay.
once that background verification is done, once we do your personal interview, then a detailed questionnaire, then we talk to a therapist and you make your profile. Once the
Mm,
profiles are made, Shri, there is nothing online. Everything is offline. All the profiles are with
okay.
us. There is nothing you can see online because we don't want people to start having sex chat and sex videos. So we want to keep it strictly for
Mm,
matchmaking. So when I see a profile where values are matching, where somebody is vegan, somebody is what do you say, has have to bring a change through social, or somebody is more outward, loves traveling, somebody wants to have monogamy, such values are matching, I try to match those profiles.
mm. So do you arrange a meetup for them, or like how does it proceed from there?
So we exchange profiles, and once they tell they like the profile, the numbers are swapped, and then they meet on their own.
Okay, so from there onwards, it's up to them
It's
to
on
say
them,
yes.
yeah. But
Oh,
they may come back to me if they have a challenge, and I connect them to a therapist or a relationship coach or a counselor or something.
okay. So far, what is the success you've seen in this process? Like, you started only now recently, right? So that's a couple of years
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when you have started. But how is the process going on? How many people have
Yeah,
registered, and what's the
sure,
success
sure.
it's going to
That's
look
an
like?
interesting question. So I started on 14 Jan 2021. Okay. And we have crossed 100 registration, and there are 7 couples, and next year there is going to be a marriage of a gay marriage.
Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic! 7 couples. Wow, that's
Yes.
fantastic.
Thank you, Shri. It's just
So
the
it's going to be a
beginning. There's
gay
a lot more to
marriage.
do.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot more to do. To be honest, we don't have a business model. This is just randomly. We are a bunch of people just doing. We are looking for a venture capitalist, somebody to mentor and grow. We are just at the moment just these baby steps. We just want to grab an attention of somebody who will help us and handhold.
Did you grab attention of anybody big? Like, did you make it to the newspaper or something? Was there any publicity
We
done?
uh, we have gone in online newspapers, but nothing major as such.
Did any
But I think
major
once the
gay
wedding happens, there will be a lot of limelight.
Yeah, of course. No, did any gay organization of India or NGOs, did they recognize your efforts?
The Hugging Club of India?
That's yours. But is there any other gay organization, NGOs, or any organization in India? Did they recognize you as another organization? Did they promote your values?
Yeah. So, I mean, there are people like there is some humans of India, queer humans of India. They would take my interview. I've been
Hmm.
called at IIT. I've been called at a lot of corporates. And they, because of Hugging Club of India, because of Gay Bombay, because of Mr. and Mr. So corporates recognize me. JP Morgan, IIT Mumbai, they call me regularly. I give talks. Wikipedia acknowledges my Gay Bombay and all. So there are certain recognitions there.
Fantastic. I really love it. I love that you've come so far in your journey and you're doing fantastic. Just to go back to Gay Bombay once again and Hugging Club
Sure.
of in a Hugging Club, I think you also have a support group that is 24 bar 7, right? Can you tell
Support
tell
group
people
for,
about
sorry?
that? There's a
Support
support
group
group.
for?
mental illness for 24/7 WhatsApp groups. So,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
very
yeah.
important information that we want to pass through the audience.
Sure. There is a support group for Hugging Club of India, because this is a space where people openly say that, hey, I am feeling suicidal, I need help. Somebody will put a post in the
Hmm.
WhatsApp group, and somebody will pick up and talk. We will share helpline numbers. One of the things which is a big menace in the community is chemsex and drugs. It's very
Hmm.
rampant. So we
Hmm.
have a support group where somebody will say, I am feeling very tempted to have drugs or go for chemsex. Can somebody talk to me? So that fleeting urge is gone. And there are role models,
Hmm.
people who have together for years, who have come to Hugging Club and have been able to give up because of medicine and therapy and support group. They help other people. And people open, see, one thing is acceptance. Shri, here is a space where sometimes people say, okay, I have kept my house on mortgage, I'm so addicted to
Hmm.
drugs, and I'm so tempted, and I don't know, I feel like ending up my life. There are so many things
Hmm.
people share for the first time.
How do you financially support yourself in getting through all these different clubs and activities? It requires a lot of mental, physical, and monetary help. So, how do you
Sure.
support yourself?
So we are always looking for funds and all, because we fund around 20 to 25 people per month, whether it comes to their medicine, counseling, therapy, psychiatric, evaluation. So it's mostly by well-wishers who donate. It's sometimes my personal funds, and somehow I ask friends to, what do you say, pool in. One of the best things that has happened is, we've tied up with Empower, which is an Aditya Pirla group, which gives a pro
Hmm.
bono counseling to our members, 6 members a week. So we are looking out for funds. In between, we had done some Milab co-founding, crowdfunding. We got money, but yes, through your podcast, I also would like to encourage or urge people, if they would like to support us, help people from dying of suicide by sponsoring their mental health treatment. I'll be more than happy. Thank you.
So, how do they contact you for funding opportunities, Umang?
Sure. So I have a website called huggingclubofindia.org. There is
Okay.
I am there on Instagram, Umang Changemaker Set. I am
Okay.
there is as I say, Mr. and Mr. dot in. I am there on LinkedIn, and if you want my number, I can say it. It's nine three
No,
two
it's
three.
okay. We don't have to put your number on the podcast, but I'm going to
Okay,
put all your details on the podcast description,
thank
the
you.
details that you just specified for people to contact you. And one last question before we sum it up. So, do people pay you for Mr. and Mr. Matchmaking? If so, what is the entry level fees to get in?
Sure. So the entry level fee for someone who is an Indian from India, actually it is for only Indian guys across the world. But if you are staying in India, it is 7,500, and if you are
Okay.
NRI, it is 15,000. And this is a membership for 2 years.
Oh, this is interesting. You started having NRIs in your matchmaking at this point.
How many NRIs I have, you asking?
No, I'm curious to know. First of all, NRI started registering, so it's because when NRIs register, it's going to be a different scenario, right? So, or these NRIs are going to get married in their own preferred location, or find partners in their own preferred location, or they want to find partners from India because some of these countries are have laws in which you can marry someone common partner and bring them over abroad. Like in
Yeah.
Canada, you can do that. So I'm
Yes,
curious to
yes.
know like
So,
how this has
coming to your
expanded to other
question,
countries because I
NRIs.
didn't know it has expanded first of all.
Definitely, definitely. So right now I have 10 people registered from Canada. Okay. So
Wow.
there are people in the US, there are people in Africa, there are people in UK. So they are ready to go to a different country. See, marriage is a secondary thing. They want to first get into a relationship, and depending on the law of the land, they want to get married and adopt a child. So for the first preference is someone from the same country. So I will introduce somebody from say Vancouver, who's in Mississauga, something in Halifax to, I don't know, Queens or something like that. That's how I first try, and they're open to sponsoring somebody from India also if things work out. Or Canada or US, UK. So first, I try to get some connect an overseas person in overseas. That's how I work.
Fantastic. So you have expanded to Canada. Welcome to Canada.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Thanks.
when are you traveling to Canada?
Oh yeah, that's a very good question. I'm planning to come next year or maybe next. Like my brother is in Canada, and I have a lot of friends. So yes, I should be coming next year or in 25.
Fantastic. We can't wait to have you in Canada. And thank you so much for starting something in abroad as well. I know this is something very important for Indians who are scattered abroad. And quite interestingly, a lot of people who quit India, just like me, because of their sexuality. So I have known personally people who have quit India and are in
Yeah,
different places like Singapore or Canada, who are single right now and who don't know how to connect with the crowd here, and they have values that they want to connect with somebody in India as well. So it's very interesting what you've started. And as you said, there are a lot of scams going on with
yeah,
relationship, with gay marriages and gay sex and everything. And having a very healthier approach to finding a match that aligns with your value, and also your ability to go through the process with mental health, with self empowerment, is something that is very unique to the approach of matchmaking. And
thank
I
you.
think this should be translated to heterosexual matchmaking also. I think Sima Auntie should start having mental health sessions with our own self first. Because that's what is important, right? I mean, like, we see whether the kundalini matches or whether people matches based on the family structure and everything, but
Right.
actually what match should happen is that mental match, right? Like people, two
Absolutely,
people
absolutely. You're bang
matching
on
with
right,
each
which is
other.
so important. You're bang on right, more than Kundli and the horoscope. But I would like to tell you, Shri, you are also a role model. I always tell you a line: the nail polish doesn't have a gender. I see your LinkedIn post and you're breaking stigma, and it's so much empowering. When you can be yourself, you don't need to fit in. Because there is so much pressure to fit in. There is so much billing and so many things happening. When you say something that nail polish doesn't have a gender, people who have this desire to wear nail polish for years can then openly wear. So you are encouraging
Absolutely.
people to be themselves, to be true to their
Absolutely.
desires.
Absolutely, absolutely. And recently I've launched a book also called Outrageously Me 21 Days of Affirmation. It's a 21
Sure.
day affirmations every day that you can work on yourself in meeting yourself, the true outrageous self. So thank you so much for recognizing the values that I proclamate. I really honestly feel that nothing has gender. The things don't have gender at all. Only people have
Right.
gender, and people have. You can have as many genders as the number of people in the world and not get carried away with by that, because a lot of people who talk about gender identities and sexual identities, they fear that LGBTQ2S plus, this plus sign,
Mhm.
that it keeps expanding. And I want to tell them that the English vocabulary is catching up to different norms of gender, and that's absolutely fine, because that's how it should be, and people have their
Yes.
own way of expressing themselves, and there can be many ways to express yourself, and it's a spectrum, right? That's why we have a rainbow flag.
Absolutely.
It's not black and white.
Absolutely. So she's like this now. There are so many flowers and species. When something new comes, you don't stop. Nah? Something more comes up in the
Exactly.
world.
You don't tell the scientists to stop naming them.
Yeah, absolutely. It is not. It is not abnormal. It is in minority, or it was never there before, right? You
It was
don't
never
stop.
identified before.
Yeah,
This gender and sexual exploration is something that's a lifelong learning, and I think the very
yeah,
fact that you are helping people mentally to get there, and you are helping people to find a way to belong to each other, because belonging is the most essential
yeah, yeah.
feeling we all have as human beings. And you've created a safe space, you've created a community, and now you're helping people to get old together. That's wonderful. I really wish all the couples who have, met through Mr. and Mr. a grand success for all those 7 couples.
Thank
And
you.
I also wish all those 100 applicants to find their partners and, get settled in their life, whatever that means to them. Because I always say that marriage is secondary. Like, you becoming fuller as a person is very important, because when you call a better off is
Mm.
a better off because they find they balance, and they create this equation within yourself, and you have to be a better half yourself to find a better half. Like, you can't be a person who want the whole to be filled by somebody else. Like, you can't be a person which has no value, and you expect all the
Mm.
values to come from somebody else. You can't be this person who is in the prison and waiting for a knight in the white shiny armor and
Right,
horse to
right.
come and rescue you. That never happens. You
Absolutely,
have
you
to
are
be the
right.
person
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
rescuing yourself, right? So, in that
Absolutely.
way, the mental health support that you're providing, the matchmaking personas, and the process that you have created, absolutely bang on. It's quite revolutionary, quite impactful, and quite important for the current times. I can't thank
Thank
you
you.
enough for coming on the show. Do you want to
Thank
share anything at the end of this show? Do you want to summarize anything for our audience?
Sure, sure. No, thank you first of all for inviting this to me, your platform, and you are helping a lot of people through your podcast to get comfortable with their sexuality, not fit in, to come out and be themselves. So kudos to you for doing this, for opening up, and you yourself are a role model. The way you carry yourself, carrying a damn about the world, having a child, and so many things, you are inspiring. So thank you for that. I just want to share one thing which has had a huge impact on me, and I would like to share this because it's very important. You know, what is happening is, when I was a child, people used to call me sissy, pansy, baila, chakka, ijda. I used to get very angry. I used to
Mm,
tell to God, ki, why did you make me like that? And I used
mm,
to cry. But today, when people would call me uh, all these names, Baila, Chakka, Sissy, my reaction is totally different. My reaction is that these people were not born hating me. It is
mm,
the influence of the society, the movies, their upbringing, and peer group, and that's why they are talking it. They don't personally hate me. When I understand this, I am liberated. There is no suffering.
mm,
So
mm,
this is very important. Okay, the people, the way they are behaving me or something, that because I am not fitting into the image they have. I am not
mm.
girly. I am not fitting into the image of man you have in your life. So when you
And
understand,
that's wonderful. That's really wonderful what you're sharing right now. Go ahead.
thank yeah, so the thing is, all people are behaving. If your mother is shouting at you and get married, she doesn't hate you, but she's brought up with that mindset at certain age you should get married, and have a child. So she doesn't hate you, she's just behaving the way she's been taught and brought up. Once you understand that, there is so much liberty, I mean, there is so much liberation. That's what I want to tell.
Absolutely. I really love that, and all the conflicts that you see in out people, right? Like when you are worried about whether this person is male or female, it really bothers the structure that you have within. What you need to understand is that you have to love those parts within yourself that denies
Yes,
the beauty of diversity. So once you
absolutely.
love those part within yourself, it becomes easy for you to accept others as well. So I see what we need right now is not comprehension but compassion towards
Yes,
other
yes, yes.
people, and you don't need to understand other people to be in love with other people. So
Absolutely.
that's absolutely what we need. And with that note, thank you so much for joining us today, Umang. You've been
Welcome. Thanks. I
wonderful.
really loved it. Thank you so much for helping me to open up. Thank you so much for this platform. Thanks,
Oh,
Shri. Wishing
absolutely.
you
You're
all the best.
absolutely. Oh, thank you so much, and wishing you all the best with Mr. and Mr.
Thank you.
I
Thanks a lot.
can't, I can't wait to hear more updates coming our way, and I can't
Sure.
wait to meet you when you come to Canada. And for listeners, I'm putting all the information in the description. And if you're in Canada and if you want to find your ideal partner, you know who to contact. And take care of yourself. For thank you for tuning in today, and have a great day. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you, Shri. Bye.